Hi, and welcome to Rest Stops, short features to encourage you toward greater life balance. My name is Tammy, and here's my husband Ralph with today's Rest Stop.
As I write this post, in the past 10 trading days, the U.S. stock market has stumbled and tumbled. We wonder what the impact of tariffs will be, and the interest alone on our national debt, which is at $36 trillion and rising, now exceeds the annual defense spending. Articles I have perused by various financial and political pundits seem to point to a lower standard of living. It's more than a bit stressful if you spend much time listening to these so-called experts. Yes, I get it. We are reeling and dealing with the impact of high inflation the past 2 years. High mortgage rates combined with rising home prices have shut buyers out of the market. Rent is high, food prices have skyrocketed, and eggs are now at 50 cents a piece. So the question I pose to you is, how's your standard of living? You might be thinking, Ralph, you just painted a pretty gloomy economic picture and you ask, how's our standard of living? You just answered that question. Of course, our standard of living has gone down. Don't rub salt in the wound. I guess my real question is, how do you define standard of living? In a world where 1 in 4 don't have access to clean drinking water, that's over 2 billion, 1 in 11 lacks sufficient food and nutrients, 2.8 billion can't afford a healthy diet, and 1.6 billion lack adequate shelter, if you have food, clean water, clothing, and a roof over your head, you're doing pretty well. Your standard of living on the surface is pretty high. But what about your mental, emotional, and spiritual standard of living? Anxiety, addictions, depression, stress, the spiritual void and lack of meaning or sense of purpose plagues billions. 3 billion, that's 40% of the world's population, have no access to the gospel or have even heard the name of Jesus. Let's take another look at how we measure our standard of living. Instead of our standard of living, let's look at the source of living. In the book of John, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And later he says, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. Now clearly, when Jesus spoke these words, he wasn't talking about a materialistic mindset to measure our standard or source of living. If your significance, satisfaction, security, and sustenance in life comes from the amount of money in your bank or retirement accounts or the things you possess, your standard of living will always fluctuate up or down based on economic indicators. However, if you rely on Jesus for those things, you'll experience the highest standard of living possible, and no financial downturn or 50-cent eggs will bring it down. In the past month, my wife and I have had to replace our entire air conditioning and heating system. It was 25 years old. Now that's a first world problem. How many don't have heating or AC? In addition, we had to spend $2,000 in repairs for my wife's car. Last night I had to drop off my car, a 1998 Honda Civic, by the mechanic because of a massive oil leak. Oh yeah, I have 2 cars, not just one. Having 2 vehicles feels like a luxury, not a need. About 3 hours ago, I learned the repair cost for it would be around $1,700. Ugh. If I look at what I've spent in the past month, from a purely financial basis, I would conclude my standard of living went down. Yes, we took a financial hit, but as long as I look to Jesus for my significance, security, satisfaction, and the one who sustains us, my standard of living is exceedingly high. Tonight, my wife and I are going to file our taxes. Yippee! I expect we will not get a refund and will have to pay. Very thankful, though, for the job to even have to pay taxes. Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. Our lives as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship.